It is Saturday the 6th, and I am about to work on the van. It is pouring down rain, but we have a heater going on in the shop, and look what came. My back windows. Woohoo! After reading so much and watching so many videos on insulation, I decided to go with Thinsulate for the majority of my insulation in the walls and ceiling and doors. I think I decided on and changed my mind on insulation types at least 3 different times before I finally settled on Thinsulate. That's how your hands look when you're doing the insulation, and that sticky adhesive got stuff all over me. I'm just sticking this in the middle, and it will be held in by the edge at the top. Okay, I've got my Thinsulate stuffed in all the cracks. So this is a really tricky little piece, and I had made a template, but that was before I bolted down this subfloor, so the template doesn't work. But Dave is on this job because he's much more experienced at cutting things than I am, and I will have plenty of opportunity to cut things. Kill mat is now covering the wheel wells. I have the panel off the slider door, and I am cleaning the dirt and grime out of the inside. I've started on this side already, and this is what it looks like before you wipe the dirt and grime out. I don't think I remembered to show yet that Dave finished the last section of the subfloor. He did this while I was out hiking the other day. And so once we are ready for flooring, we now have a subfloor covering the entire floor. Lucky I only got the doors and a little bit of the edging, and realized I was putting the insulation in upside down. It should be fuzzy side toward the outside of the van. So putting the adhesive on the wrong side, at least at below 20 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, it peels off really easy. So this back door is done, and now I need to swap over that door. I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll make, but I'd rather do it right since I only just got started anyway. Looking at the window for the back driver's side, and this little notch here is where the door hinge is. This is going to be a slider, and it didn't come with a screen, so I will try to make a makeshift screen. But it was factory, something is an imperfection. So I got it at a really good deal from Van Windows Direct. It's not supposed to really affect the functionality at all. It's not like it's formed in the wrong shape or anything, so I do not mind about that. I am excited to have a deal. So the first thing we're going to do here, I've seen a lot of people just go straight around this, using this as the template, which is fine. But we watched another person install these, and they came in about a 1/2 inch. And I will put the link to their video in this video, but I think that looked really good because the edging, it's going to go over the edge of where you cut, and there's such a gap here that if you do it right along the edge, it won't fit very well with this gap to go either over both, or it would have to go underneath that. So Dave is out here helping me, and we are going to do exactly that. We're going to measure about a 1/2 inch around the outside edge right here. So 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch in from this lip. And then we'll start drilling and cutting. It's too cold to glue the window today. Okay, so I tried to film a little bit. I didn't get it because I was blocking the camera. What we're doing is there's a straight line here. We've gone 3/4 of an inch in on each of the 4 sides. We're going to trace out the corners, and then we'll drill holes from the inside, and that will be our line on the outside, then the drill holes for cutting the hole. have our lines where we're going to cut. First, we're going to drill. We're going to drill to the outside and then cut from the outside in. This is the inside of the window. This was what will sit against the van. And we were noticing these, I think these are channels to let the water, any water that gets in this window frame, drain out. But you can see that there obviously is a lip here that will push this glass away from the van. That's where we believe this trim comes in. We're going to put the trim around the cut, and that will also push the window out just a little bit from the side of the van. So it should be fairly even, and then you're supposed to do a super thick, nice bead of caulk around it, so it should adhere just fine. So we're doing this in our shop. I don't know if I mentioned, it is January, and so far this is the coldest few days, so we had to bring in all of our primer and caulk and Rust-Oleum to unfreeze so we can use them for the window installation. We're just prepping the windows tonight because it's, I don't think it even got above 20 today Fahrenheit. This is an adhesive carpet square, so I'm going to cut it and put it on the bottom of my jigsaw so that it doesn't scratch the metal, scratch the paint. And I am using this garbage bag. I'll tape that over the window to catch metal shavings. I'm about to drill my first hole in the van. Right here.
Sure.
Woo!
And then go over to your second hole.
There's a hole in the van.
Everywhere you put a hole, we're going to have to put a bigger hole. So you probably want to put a couple more.
Why would we have to put a bigger hole?
Because this is a relief hole, so that when the blade, we can turn the blade to make the corner. Otherwise, we're forcing that jigsaw to turn.
Oh.
These are going to be big holes that every time we hit one,
Here is my back door. It's looking a little holy. So here's the carpet stuck to the bottom, so it keeps the saw from scratching around the edge as it cuts. It's way above.
bring it back down and go lower.
Yeah, I think I need to get off of this thing because I'm not looking at it at an angle. Here is a piece of my van, now no longer attached. There is a gaping hole in my van, which will have a window in it as soon as it's warm enough to apply adhesive. Just did the tiny holes for window in the back, number 2. And now I'm going to do some big ones. That is looking amazing. Looking through my van door, it looks pretty ugly right there. That was my worst cut. Fall into it.
So I'll get yelled at for no eye protection.
All right, next step in putting in the windows. I am going to be removing this beam right here so that we can cut this out and put in a window behind the driver's seat. And then we are going to do the same thing on the sliding door. We can't remove the beam actually, but we're gonna make the same sort of cut. We have to cut through that beam because it's one piece. My center beam is gone from that side. This is our heater. It is enthusiastic about its job. Does that seem right, or is that going to be too much, too close to the edge?
A little close to the edge.
Okay, so I'm going to need to pick it up a little.
Yep.
Like right there. That's really close. Do we have a non-electric one? For some reason, the caulk gun was giving me a ton of trouble just stopping and starting, so I had to fix it so that the bead was nice and smooth anyway. Yep, so this and if you need me to kick something out of the way or grab or whatever. Okay. Do that. Up on the right, maybe? Looks great. Here, have something there. This part was just so nerve-wracking because we were worried about dropping the window on the way to get to the van. We were worried about putting it on crooked. We were worried about it being too dry, not dry enough. But I think we did a pretty good job. We made sure it was pressed down evenly, that it was lined up with that top line on the van's contour, and we're pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, so long as it's lined up with the other one, I think it's great.
How does it look?
It looks good to me. All right, this is going to be the last bit of video for the night. We have both of the back windows in, and they both open. I have to put the hardware on later. And then we have the non-opening side door on the slider. It is in. Unfortunately, my order for more of this Sikaflex automotive windows caulk didn't come like it was supposed to from Amazon today. I ordered 4 and then I ordered 1 more just to be sure. And the one came, or we wouldn't have got both of those windows on. The other did not. So we have the pilot holes drilled here. We'll need to cut out this window, the last window that goes behind the driver's door. So that's it. It's looking really good. I'm super stoked. All right, we've got the van turned around so we have better workspace, and we are about to put in our last window. We've got the pilot holes all cut. We just need to get our line cut along it with the jigsaw. All right, I'm going to attach the plastic to this side of the window to keep shavings from falling down into the van too much. With the drilling, we forgot, so we've got, you can see how many, that was just from the drill. The saw is much, much worse, so I'll get that plastic taped up. Okay. Now it's going to click in. For the saw battery, it died, so we gotta finish that last cut. And meanwhile, I'm putting this hardware in. have 2 sliding windows in the back. They open up pretty far, and then they lock. Nice. After the saw died a couple times, we are cleaning up the cut, and we now have all the windows cut. No. Oh, wait. Not yet. Instead of applying the adhesive to the back of the window this time, I went back to what we did with the back windows, which was applying it directly to the van. Because we had such a narrow gap around the window, we were still having a lot of trouble with this gun. My arms got tired, so Dave's taken over. This Ryobi electric caulk gun we got is a piece of crap, actually. I've heard good things about it, but it's doing like a 1/2 inch at a time, so this is just a painful process.
Right?
Yeah, line it with the top and the front. Back a little. Back a little more, I think. Right there.
Right there?
Yeah, I think that's probably good. Looks like it's lined up with this. It's a little over this line. Can you get it to the right of like 1/4 inch or no? A little bit more at the top. Perfect. Perfect.
You like it right there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, windows are all in. That is fantastic. That's a wrap on this episode. I hope you're enjoying this. So here's what it looks like from the inside. I don't know if I mentioned I got the little windows from Van Windows Direct, but I got the big windows from Van Tech. All right, next steps are gonna be insulation, hopefully some furring, clean up, seal the floor so I can put the flooring on top of it, and we'll just keep trucking along.